All right, Greek students, welcome to class here, and we are going to begin with grading the quiz from chapter 6 and 7, which is the case system, where you have learned nominative, accusative, genitive, dative. And so let's start with vocab, and I'm going to just go through this and we can walk through. So exousia means authority or power. By the way, this quiz is worth 90 possible points. Every time you get one incorrect, just make a circle next to it. And then at the end, you can count up all the circles and see how many you missed, and then put the number correct over 90. So that's what we're going to be doing. So exousia means authority or power. If you have just one of those, that's fine. I put down the comprehensive definitions, but if you get one of them, like if you just put authority and not power, you're fine. That's correct. Just trying, or if you put power and not authority, that's fine as well. Although exousia generally is translated as authority, so we'll go with that. Okay. Huios, say huios, is son or descendant. Hamartia is sin. De is but. De is their post-positive, and usually never at the beginning of a sentence, but translated at the beginning of a sentence as but. Nun is now. Estin is actually a verb. It is the third person singular form of a me. It means he, she, it is. So it could be he or she or it, but it is a to be verb. He, she, it is. Uk is not. Hati is that, since, or because. Phone is voice or sound. And pneuma is spirit, wind, breath, or inner life. All right, so those are, remember, if you did not get one correct, just circle one, and then you can keep track there as we go along. All right, let's move over to the grammar. Grammar, write out the names of the four cases, the grammatical functions of each, and the keywords, if any. Include proper keywords if appropriate. So case one is the nominative, and its function is to show the subject of the verb. It's the subject of the main verb of the sentence. So subject is what we're looking for there. If you also put predicate, nominative, that is also a function of the nominative. But for right now, we're just thinking of the nominative as the subject of the verb. Okay, no keywords with the nominative. No keywords. All right. Case number two is the genitive. Genitive, it shows possession. It's a possessive. And the key word that we're using with the genitive is the word of. All right. So the word of. So of whatever it is. And then case number three is the dative, and it generally shows the indirect object, or it demonstrates the indirect object. The key word is to, so you would put to in front of whatever the word is. We're going to find that as we translate the dative, that sometimes the keyword might imply better with in or with, but to is our keyword. If you have in or with on there, you can have that. That's going to be fine, but technically to is our keyword. And then case number four is the accusative, and the accusative case generally shows the direct object. That's the function of this, with no keyword involved. If you have these in different orders, that's fine. If you had it in different order, I am typically going to be using the nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative in that order as we kind of map them out. But if you have them in different order, so long as the functions all line up and the keywords all line up, then they're all correct. If one of them is incorrect, each one of these is worth a point. So if you did not get nominate, if you didn't get this, then circle that. If you didn't get the function, circle that. Though that would be 2 points. There are 10, let's see, how many points? 10 possible points here, and there are 10 possible points up here as well. So this first page is worth 20 points. Okay. If you have any questions, you can stop the video and ask them at this point. Okay, we're going to move on to the back page. Actually, we'll move on to, here it is, over here. Okay, now I'm going to write these out. What is the full paradigm of case endings? And so I'm going to write these out, and I'm going to do this in pencil. And so this is asking for case endings, not necessarily case endings with the final stem vowel. That's not what it's asking for. It's just asking for case endings. So let's do the case endings first, and we'll work from there. So nominative masculine singular is a sigma. There is no ending on the feminine nominative singular, and the nominative neuter singular is a nu. All right? So each one of these is worth a point. If you did not get it correct, circle it. Great. And then genitive is upsilon, and then the feminine is sigma, and then upsilon. The dative is very difficult to memorize, iota, iota, iota. And then the accusative is also nun, nun, nun. There we go. So that is the singular, the nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative singular for the masculine, feminine, and neuter, first and second declensions. This is what we have so far. So if we were to add, if you did perhaps maybe put these on here, or the person who you're grading added also onto here the with the attached final stem vowel, then it would look like this. It would look like os, and then it would either be eta or alpha, and then it would be omicron nu. That would be with the final stem vowel, and then we would get u, either ace or os, and then u, and then it would be with the dative, it would be o, and then it would either be eta with an iota subscript or alpha with an iota subscript, or omega, and then here omega with an iota subscript. And then down here on, and then we would have either ein or on, and then we would have on. So that is only if you did it with the final stem vowels. And so I just wanted to put that in there as well. But what we're really looking for is just the case endings. That was really what we were looking for, were these. Okay. Now, if you added, what I would say is this: if you did the case endings with the final stem vowel, don't count yourself off. Okay, that's fine. But make sure that you were consistent throughout. Okay, that's the only thing that I'm looking for with that, is that you were consistent. As we move down, the case endings here are iota, iota, alpha, and then own, 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 iota sigma, iota sigma, iota sigma, and then upsilon sigma, sigma, and alpha. If we were to add the case endings, if we were to add the final stem vowel to the case endings, it would be oi, I, ah, and it would be own, own, own. It would be ois, ice, ois, and then it would be us, os, ah. Okay, so again, these are with the final stem vowels. Actually, that is also with the final stem vowel. Those are with the final stem vowel. And then final stem vowels, like that. Although all we're looking for are with just the case endings, which are these, and these. If you missed one, circle it and go from there. Okay. If you have any questions, pause the video and ask your instructor who is there. Okay, here we go. We're going to go down to parsing. Parsing is the one part of a quiz that is, I think it's the most fun. It's the most getting towards translating, so it shows that kind of progress. So what we're going to do is, there's a number of things. We talked about this already. Parse the following words. Do not forget you should tell me 5 things about each word. And so you're supposed to provide on your parsing, on your quiz, what are those 5 things. And those 5 things are, you need to provide for nouns, the case, the gender, and the number. So nominative, accusative, genitive, or dative, the gender, masculine or feminine, or neuter, and then the number, which is singular or plural. You would also provide the lexical form as well as the inflected meaning. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk through how I go about parsing and what that does for us. So I'm just going to, we'll zoom in on sabata here. So here's our word, sabata. Say sabata. The very first thing that I'm doing is I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, what's the lexical form of that word? And as I think about it, the word that I memorized is Sabaton. Now there's a couple things that I remember if I have memorized Sabaton, and that is that just by the nature of what I have memorized, I see there, I didn't memorize Sabatas or Sabate or something like that. It's Sabaton, which tells me that this is a neuter word. Just by the lexical form, what I memorized is lexical, or is neuter. Now with that in mind, I look down here at the ending here, and now as I look back up at I can look back up here, okay, and I look at the endings, and what I'm seeing here is that it's a neuter. Where are my alphas? Here's an alpha, here's an alpha. It could be, in this case, we know that it's a plural because the alpha ending, and we also know that at this point it could be either nominative or accusative. One of the rules that we have is that the neuters, if a neuter is identical in form in the nominative and accusative, that's true as a singular, that's also true as a plural. And so this could be either nominative or accusative. If you only have one of these, that's fine. Don't count yourself off for not having the other. But just to know that this is what it is. Each of these is worth a point. So it's a point for providing this information at the top. Okay. But each of these is also worth a point. Now, if this is the case, how are we inflecting this? Our inflected meaning, if it's a plural, then our inflected meaning would be Sabbaths, plural, or you might say weeks, plural, or something like that. Okay, but it is plural. So the inflection needs to match the case and number and gender, if possible, however that's going to work. Okay? All right. So that's number one. Each of these, again, is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 possible for each, as well as these 5 up here. And so there's going to be 45 possible in this section. So let's keep going on with this one. Let's say the next one together. And I'm going to try to keep our chart up here available so that we can do our parsing together and relate back to the chart. Okay, here we go. We are on, here we go. Huio. Say huio. Huio. Now the lexical form, you guessed it, is the word huios. And I can't just write huios, can I? Because it has a rough breather on it. And the rough breather will always go over the second letter of the diphthong. So huios. And accents, I would say this. Accents are important. If you do not have the accent, okay, if you do not have the accent, do not mark it incorrect. If you do not have the rough breather, then you do need to mark it incorrect. So smooth breathers, I'm going to let go. Rough breathers make a difference in pronunciation, so rough breathers are important on lexical forms. So huios is the lexical form. If you did not get the rough breather on there or you misspelled it, then that's incorrect, or you got the wrong word. Those are incorrect, so circle that, okay? And that would be a point off. But huios is our word. Huios means sun. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got, it's a masculine word, right? It's masculine, so we're going to write in here masculine. And since it's masculine, we look down and we see, oh, here's our ending. We got the omega with the iota subscript, a for sure dative. And it is a singular. And so the way we would translate this, or we would inflect this, is we would use our keyword to. And then since it does not have an article on it, we would say to a sun. To a sun. That would be the way we inflect it. Or if you say to sun, you could say that. If you have to the sun, that's fine as well, even though there's no article on this. But to a sun is the way we would inflect that. Now, if you did not use the keyword in your inflection, then circle it, that you got it incorrect in the inflection because we used our keywords with the dative and the genitive when we inflect. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's, and again, if you miss these things, don't beat yourself up. This is a diagnostic to figure out what do I know and what do I not know, okay? And how have I prepared? How have I not prepared? So use this as a chance to learn and relearn those things. Okay. All right. Let's do our next one. Anthropon. Anthropon. Now, our lexical form, you might have guessed it, is anthropos. Anthropos. Thank you for my left-handedness. Sorry if you can't see that. Here's our smooth breather, anthropos. And let's see. I'm trying to remember where the accent goes on anthropos. I think it's here. Anyway, anthropos, smooth breather. Don't worry about the smooth breather or the accent mark necessarily. That won't cost you on this. The own here is a telltale sign that we have a genitive plural, right? Own. So we've got a genitive plural. Genitive plural. The question is, what's the gender? And we know that because we memorized anthropos as a masculine noun. And so here we have a masculine, genitive masculine plural. And we would say then the key word is of, and it's plural, so men, or you could say of people if it is being used inclusively. All right? All right, anthropon. All right, let's keep going down. I'm going to move this up so we can see. All right, theou. Theou. Our lexical form is theos. Theos. It is masculine because it is ha theos. That's how we memorized it. And then we look here at the omicron upsilon, which is, if we look at our masculine here, omicron upsilon is u, genitive singular. Genitive singular. And we have of God. Of God. That would be how we inflect it. Okay? All right. Hamartiais. Hamartiais. Our lexical form is ha. We'll put ha. Martia. Hamartia means sin. We've got here. Here's our ending, our ice ending. And we see that alpha iota sigma is that's a feminine form. That's a feminine plural of a dative. It's a dative feminine plural. So we already know hamartia is feminine because we've memorized it. It's a vocabulary word. It is feminine. Even if you didn't know hamartia was feminine, the alpha iota sigma ending is a telltale dative plural feminine. And so dative feminine plural. And we would say, if we were inflecting this, we would say two, and it's a plural, so sins. I would say in this case, if you were inflecting this, it might make more sense to say in sins, but that's okay. Two sins is fine in this case. Okay? All right, here. Autus. Autus. We have memorized this as autos. We're going to learn a little bit more about autos as we continue on. Autos has a whole thing about it, but in this case, you see this us here, and us is a telltale sign that you have a masculine, accusative masculine plural. Accusative masculine plural, us. And the way then we would, autos is he, she, or it. Actually, in this case, it's a third person personal pronoun. But in this case, we have a plural. It's a masculine plural. And so we would say, as an accusative, we would say them. Them. If it were masculine plural, sorry, if it were nominative plural, it would be they, but it's accusative plural because the direct object is them. Okay? All right. Let's keep going on. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Zoes. Zoes. Zoes, our lexical form is zoe, life. And this eta, zoe is feminine. And so we're going to write in here feminine. And we know if we go up here, our eta sigma is a genitive singular. Genitive singular, zoes. And we are going to inflect this as of life. All right? And then finally, we've got TOS. Wonderful TOS. This is the article. And so the lexical form of the article, have we had this yet? I think we have. The lexical form of the article, yeah, we have had this. Is 7.10 in the book. The lexical form of the article is always nominative masculine singular. Nominative masculine singular is the lexical form, so the lexical form is ha. Ha. Okay? And as we look at the TOS is the accusative accusative feminine plural of ha. And the way we would inflect this is the. Okay? So those are, each of these is worth a point. Obviously, like we said, there's 45 possible. So if you would circle any incorrect, add up all the incorrect, and go back to the front page and write the number incorrect at the top. So let's say I missed 5 minus 5, and then I would put the number correct over 90, so 85 over 90. And then what I would ask you to do is to either take a photo of this score or this page or your whole quiz, or scan your whole page or your whole quiz. You can scan, by the way, if you have an iPhone, in your Notes app, you can scan using your Notes app. I have a program, an app that I bought, which is called Scanner Pro. It costs like $5 or $6, but it syncs to your Dropbox, and or you can sync it to whatever. But I use Scanner Pro on my phone. Or if you just take a picture of it and you upload those to Canvas, that would be fantastic as well. Okay, so if you would upload your photo or your scan of your quiz on the quiz 6 and 7 assignment, that would be great, and then I'll have a chance to submit your grade on there. All right, great. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, ask your instructor, and we'll move on to our next thing.